Hi guys, welcome to the Happy Wheels stream. We're gonna be writing Happy Wheels. I'm so happy this one was the one chosen because I was like I really wanted to go in depth in the process of what it takes to go and create something like a movie or something like that. Whereas with a series, it's quite different because you're not when you're doing a series, you're thinking for like how you have to think of every small detail because every detail matters due to the fact that you have to think ahead always. But with a movie, there's an end time. There's an end time, and you have to get to the point. For the most part. So I wanted to do this because I wanted to go, like, give an idea for people. What is the process does someone goes through, or production team, a writing team goes through for creating a movie, you know? Like, what does a screenwriter do? So, in my opinion, the most important thing that for script writing or anything is research. It's not really not people don't really go into depth on like the research part, but it plays the most important role in the whole process because if you don't do the research, your thing it may be the difference of your thing being dead in the water or it having room to stand on, you know? So, this I'm going to show you how do I organize this. This is my little beat board. Now, you use beat boards often with like not you would use it more for television, but I still use it for film because it helps lay out the different plot details and how they are connected to each other and also can explain the interconnected storylines like the B plot, the A plot, and the C plot that is going on. So, I like to color code. So, we're going to go add tag to the line. Not cast members, we don't need cast members. The tag is going to be plot. Plot, plot, plot moment. We're going to, that. And then plot moments I tend to make red because they're important. They're the most important thing to make. You want the plot details to be important. So, plot, moment. A moment that propels the plot. If I could spell propel correctly. The plot. So you want to color code it as much as possible. Let me see. I don't like that you can't name it. Oh, you can. Plot moment. The one I use in like when I use like Final Draft, I like it more because it actually turns these the colors that they're supposed to be. I like to color coordinate everything, and this is not it. And that'll do the trick for now. So, plot moment. Then I like to have world building. World building. So those are world building relates to anything that would change affect why characters do a certain thing. So it could be the culture that they're part of. It could be that it's a certain traditions that they hold. World building I put as green because green is for me. I think exploration. I think of trees. I think the world tree. You get what I mean. So world building. building. World building. Details that explain why characters do certain things, or hold certain beliefs. Example, traditions, culture, traditions, culture, religion, and weather. Now, weather may seem odd, like it doesn't go with all three of them, but it does, because think about it. The people in the US, if you're someone that lives in the US, you think completely differently than you do to someone in like the UK. For example, natural disasters are something normal to Americans. So we are like, well, we're prepared. We're not really scared of them too much. Some of us will just wait it out for the most part. For some of us, or go by the Waffle House index. Whereas if you brought someone from the UK to America, they would not understand that concept of that. They wouldn't understand that concept because the biggest thing that they would have in terms of natural disasters are storms, but storms rarely come to them due to the fact, cyclones and hurricanes don't really come to them because it's so cold, but they do come. So for us, for them, the idea of a tornado alley, or the idea that a lot of us just shelter in place, is crazy to a lot of Europeans. But that, or like for example, right, in a lot of Hispanic cultures, right, or cultures in general, there are delicacies that if you were someone of another culture, you would find gross. That's your like pig's tongue, cow's tongue, chicken hearts, fish heads, like all of those things. Those are delicacies in different countries, but it's weird to an outsider. That's the idea of world building. You're building upon why do characters do certain things, right? If it can be answered by their weather or geographic region slash geography. If it can be explained by weather or geography, tradition, culture, or religion, it is most likely something world building related. Doesn't mean that it isn't important, but because it is important, but it's not something that goes with the plot too much unless it's something like a cultural piece. So we have world building. Then I'm going to this character growth. Not growth. Character arc. Progression. That one I'm gonna label blue. Character arc progression. And this includes anything, like anything. Oh, I just realized I wasn't recording for the YouTube audience. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. But yeah, this includes anything that literally, anything like the introduction to a character, any establishment of any intimate connections to other characters that establishes who this character is, little idiosyncrasies that not little idiosyncrasies, but things that kind of give like the state of mind that the character's in, emotionally and emotionally, psychologically. So it's really this part is, I would say, almost as important. I know I probably misspelled character, but who cares? But it's almost as important as um as the plot details, because without this, without character arc, how are we supposed to relate to or even like be on the character side? We have to give the audience a reason to like the character, even if they're meant to be unlikable, right? Like, for example, the ghoul from the Fallout TV show, even though he's meant to be unlikable, there's a lot of people who like him because of the fact that he's a likable, unlikable person. You have to find ways to like find relatability within even bad characters that you don't necessarily agree with them, right? So that's the idea. Getting a glimpse into what they're thinking. So characters, psych, psychological, psychological development dash emotional development. So that. Now, here's another important key component. The reason why, by the way, I'm establishing all of these key components is so we're all on the same page once we get to the research aspect of this. Okay? Because once we have the basis of why I'm doing everything, I'm laying out this, then all there's left is just doing it. So, and enter. So, stakes. They're the reason why we care. Why should we care? We care. Why should we care? Right? That's the point of stakes. Because you can have plot details, you can have world building, and you can have character arc progression. But if you have no stakes, no one cares. No one literally cares what is about to happen. It could be something that is important to the character. It could be something it could be world ending. It could be that literally the person's not going to get to their train on time. But there is some major consequence if this doesn't happen. Right? It is the reason why we root for the character. We root for the character because we want them to win. Right? Rocky Balboa, he wants to be a boxer. He wants to win the boxing game. The stakes is that if he doesn't win, win the boxing game, he may not be able to establish himself as a boxer, and he may not be able to feed his family. Right? He doesn't win the game, but he does become a professional boxer throughout that journey. Or the hobbits. If they don't bring the ring to the volcano, the world would end because Sauron will get a hold of the rings, or someone will get a hold of the rings and literally end the world. Or you have the instance of Inside Out, which is internal character, where the stakes are, if Joy does not get to the main console, if Joy and Sadness don't get to the main console in time, Riley will run away from home. So those are major consequences that if the character does not succeed, will happen. And they have to happen. There's no cop-out. So we have plot moments, world building, character arc progression, and stakes. Usually I would add another, if it was a series, I would add foreshadowing notes, which I will add here, but I'm not really going to use it that much because foreshadowing is not really used too much. I'm going to call it the gun. So, I'm going to make it pink. Actually, not pink. I'm going to make it purple. But yeah. And it's based off the concept of, if the gun is mentioned, it has to be used once. Basically, this is based on the concept of Chekhov's gun. If you've heard of it and don't know of it, or if you're tired of it, I am so sorry, but have to explain it to the ones in the back. Basically, the concept of Chekhov's gun, or MacGuffin, or whatever you would like to call it, is that basically, if anything is mentioned in a script, you have to use it once, because drawing attention to it for even a moment brings significance, and it has to be used, otherwise it is useless for it. It should not be put in the script, right? So for example, if there's it's based on that concept. So like it's based on a movie, an old movie, don't remember the name. I think it was a thriller, something like that. And basically, it's in that old movie, there was a gun on the wall. It is talked about once. By the end of the movie, it gets taken off the wall and used. So the gun has to go off at least once if you have written about it. So those are foreshadowing moments. What you would call foreshadows or stuff like that. If you don't mention them and you give plot significance to them and they're not used, they can cause plot holes. So guns are important. So yes. So we've established the first part of what are the important things that we need in this script. What do we need in the script? All of these things. Now, the second thing that we need to establish in a script is ideas. Because you could have the game. I have the game as reference. But if I just have it as reference, it's not going to be as interesting. So, for those of you, let's watch a little bit of gameplay footage of Jacksepticeye playing Happy Wheels. So that way you guys can have an idea of what Happy Wheels is, because there is some people here that don't know. Oh, hi, Georgina 656. Hey, I'm not making a game, but I am making a movie adaptation of Happy Wheels, as voted on by everybody. But yeah, we had a vote, and everyone chose out of Stardew, chose out of Happy Wheels, Five Nights at Freddy's, and Undertale. And out of those, Happy Wheels won. So I'm going through the process of showing how to make a movie, pretty much. How do you write a movie when you have almost nothing to go off of in the case of Happy Wheels. Happy Wheels doesn't really have a story per se, but we're going to make one. So, here, I'm going to show you guys my references that we'll be going off of. Because I thought they were really good and they kind of went with the idea. So, let's play this. Oh, let me get my headphones because I want to listen to Jacksepticeye 2. Let me make sure my... There.
Top of the morning to you laddies. My name is Jacksepticeye. Welcome back to...
Oh gosh. The sheer amount of those that he did.
To get in and get Stevie.
Oh, the green hair.
Right off the bat, that's what caught my eye. I have absolutely no idea how to play this game. This seems rather easy. Should something
I don't think it's gonna be easy.
Oh god. This
Oh gosh.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no, the baby's gone.
Oh Billy, no.
Billy went
I lost
flying.
my little boy.
Oh gosh.
Backflips like a boss. Okay,
But yeah.
my head kind of went into the wheel there for a second. Go.
Okay.
Like a motherfucker. What the? Yeah.
The arms broke.
Finished it first try. Didn't even die. First time to ever play Happy Wheels. Like,
Yeah, but the arms broke. Oh gosh. That's insane. Oh my gosh. The human chunks. Oh gosh.
Oh, it's like Soylent Green. What the hell is a sword throw? That sounds amazing.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
That's even worse.
Get that sword out of your crotch.
Jeez.
My arm came off. You have one powerful crotch.
Oh my gosh. He's trying so
How are
hard.
you missing everything? I can't even grab the sword anymore. Okay.
How has he missed the regular
God,
one?
Santa in the belly. Yeah, slow motion. How do I get the fuckers behind me? Ooh. Like that. Oh, that was the best one. He can't fit into the cannon.
Oh wow.
I got them all. I did it. I win.
He missed the
game.
ninja.
Dude, it's still blowing up in the background. 99.9999%
Jeez.
impossible. Impossible.
So.
I fucking doubt it. Accept. I didn't even get to finish my name.
Oh wow.
Holy balls! Are you supposed to do that? Yeah. Suck on that game.
Okay.
Oh, you ass! I'm a dinosaur. I'm a dinosaur.
The amount of ingenuity that people have creating these.
Yeah, I'm a dinosaur. Don't you know who I am?
Jeez.
I'm not even grabbing balls now. That's what she said.
Oh wow.
You see what's up?
Oh, that's
You see what's up?
the tiny little
Jacksepticeye gets
pieces.
in to play a game. It's just instant win all around. I fucking win at life.
Jeez. What the hell? You could tell this is early 2000. This is like 2000s, like early 2000s, like
Assassin husband.
um,
Not a husband
like
yet.
comedy.
Otherwise I'd be an assassin kind. Oh, I think they
Oh,
call
gosh.
this position the backwards rodeo dildo brigade.
Okay. So like I was saying, the things that we're gonna be focusing on are
And how do you make it in 3 halves? What is this abomination?
like what
the
is
fuck?
this?
Dave.
We get to No, we don't want to add.
It's a giant open universe where you never gonna be able to do it the same way again.
But as you can see, Happy Wheels is like obstacle courses. So like obstacle courses mixed with like Mario Maker type level making. I think this came out before Mario Maker, I believe. But yeah, so it's obstacle courses and stuff like that. Now people got very inventive with the obstacle courses after a while, as you could see. And so you could see Happy Wheels is very bloody. It's very gory. It's obstacle courses. It's like craziness and trying to survive, all of it. So yep. I wanted to go and mix that like kind of like biking or cycling or pogo or let me see this one.
Your slag, 'cause your pants and your shirt
What
won't
the
be-
hell,
your helmet's
Jack?
wet and your shirt
What
is
are you
wet.
wearing?
Here we go. Come on. What the fuck? Why?
What are you
Why
wearing?
am I dying so easily to these levels? Here we go. Screw you, Billy. Ow. Flips. No, flips are not the way. Oh, Billy.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yes! Here we go! And boosh! Wow! I did it! Oh god, did I go too far? It was like too awesome! I was too awesome!
But yeah, you see how it's like deadly obstacle course racing in a sense, right? So the idea is we're going to be doing that. I'm going to be making like a deadly obstacle course racing type game that people are doing for probably money, like in a Squid Game type situation. Like no one's forcing them to do it, but it's like socially, it's been done long enough that it's become socially acceptable. Or maybe the technology has evolved enough. Like this is like maybe a couple of like decades in the future where like the technology has gone and like become so successful that like you could get like totally obliterated and they could put you back together. Like it could be as simple as that. So like we can keep the in-game joke of like you just getting totally obliterated, or even like I could leave it in that they that is the that's the stakes. If you lose at Happy Wheels, you lose your life, you know. But I have to come up with like why is this game socially acceptable for the society to be doing, right? Um, so let me write that in. So it's Happy Wheels tournament. Race. Happy Wheels race. A racing tournament where if the contestants compete in obstacle races, in deadly obstacle. I hate that I'm terrible at spelling. Obstacle course races. If they win, they receive a prize. They receive maybe money. And losing means death. Losing means death. But yeah. But basically, I want it to be kind of like a Squid Game, but no one's like, one, no one's forcing them to be there. No one's forcing them to stay there. There's no like vote like in Squid Games to where like you, in order for you to back out, you have to have a majority or anything like that. And if you back out, there's no consequences, right? But there's no consequences to backing out. But basically, there's no consequences for backing out, but if they win they're so desperate to win the award, they're willing to sacrifice their lives, right? To attain whatever the prize is. I think that's the cusp of what Happy Wheels needs to be. And I think a concept that should be in the Happy Wheels race is that like you're going for weirdness because I think you want screen time, right? You want the most amount of screen time that you can get, because probably it might be like a Hunger Games scenario that if you do get sponsored, you might be able to receive upgrades or stuff like that to help with your builds. I think that could be like a thing where sponsors, let me put this in the culture section. Contestants try to receive as much attention as possible. From sponsors. From sponsors. So basically, like, they're trying to like get as much attention as possible, so that way they can like earn the upgrades, so that way they can keep going in the competition. Right? So like you gotta have the vibe of like BMX and all that stuff. So as much attention as possible from sponsors. Okay. The more attention they get, more screen time they get, the more likely they will receive sponsors. Sponsors who will fund their builds for the races. So like, let me add the tag. This would be a world building element. So the more screen time they get, the more likely they will receive sponsors who will fund their builds for the races. So that's the idea. So like they're trying to vie for attention as much as possible. So that's possibly why that could be a reason for people to like do the competition, is that they're trying to attain money. So they're thinking, okay, if I can get this sponsor, and I can get this sponsor and get this sponsor, I can get to the end of the race. And if I get to the end of the race, then I get whatever prize that I can get. Right? Whether that is like a cool piece of technology, or like you never have to worry about anything ever again. Whatever it is, like, that's the idea. Also, I think just so that way, because Jacksepticeye's version is so like iconic, like his run of Happy Wheels, I want the main character to be Steve, because Steve, even though you hear Billy in that, Steve is a common name that caught on from the All the Way song. I'm not gonna play it because it would get this video copyrighted. So that's why we're focusing on just watching his videos and jumping through it and pausing through it and all that stuff. So we're doing stuff like that. So we're going to create another plot thread, and this is going to be Steve. He is our main character. That's all we know of him so far, because we have no like consolidation of who he is yet. But we will get that in a moment, because we're going to try to come up with like who can be the model for this character, in terms of personality and things that he does and how he thinks. We want to find a model. So we're gonna do that. Another character that I want, just so that way I can honor the fact that the other thing that I loved from Jacksepticeye's run is his commentary on it. If I ever had the chance to make this into a film, I would want to have Jacksepticeye be the sports commentator for this, or either be the sports commentator or Steve's best friend, Steve's like older brother or older friend, who is like making the jokes like, Steve, why aren't your legs magnetic? Jokes like that. Like, I want someone like that. So I would want like someone to comment on Steve's performance and other people's performance, right? That has to be, I feel like he doesn't have to be obsessed with the Happy Wheels races, but he definitely, like, it's something that's televised that he'll watch, right? So I feel, we know he should be modeled after Jacksepticeye, so we're just modeling him after Jacksepticeye, just for funsies. Because why not? Why not have a Jack insert? Jacksepticeye insert. Okay, we're just gonna put Jacksepticeye. We're just doing that because I like making chaotic choices now. Jacksepticeye, commentator. Commentator. I know I probably misspelled commentator, but it is what it is. Color tag. That's an establishment of a character. We'll write stuff about him later. And he is connected to Steve in some way, just don't know what yet. Don't know if it's like the friend that's helping him out or mentor that's helping him out. I don't know if it's that quite yet, but I know I want Jacksepticeye commenting on something in some capacity. I know that, right? So we're gonna do that. So now, how do I want the look of our version of Happy Wheels? I kind of want, like, when I say build, when I saw Happy Wheels, it reminded me of a certain thing that exists. If you're not familiar with these two concepts, I'm going to show you these runs, and then you tell me if this doesn't feel like Happy Wheels. But I'm going to turn down the sound because they sometimes play music that's copyrighted. But you see these soapbox races, right? You see how they'll dress up weird and they'll to complement whatever build that they make. And the whole point of a soapbox race is that this is a car that has no brakes. And you see how these builds break apart. Like, they're not made to be sturdy, in a sense. They're meant to be as lightweight as possible because they need to hurdle themselves to the end to get the fastest time. And so they're trying to hurdle themselves to the end in the fastest time possible. And if you don't get to the end, by the end of the run, you're disqualified. So I wanted to do something like this where we're kind of doing some weird thing with, like, that relates back to soapbox racing. Because, like, this would be something that you can have go for the moon for how weird you want to get with the characters. But also you can also, like, create, like, this also helps with the culture aspect because it's like, oh, like, why is this, like, a thing? Why is this the primary television source, right? Televised event. So yeah, so I wanted to do something off of soapbox racing, because of that. They get weirder. Don't worry. You'll be entertained. I have watched. The reason why I actually did, before I even thought of the Happy Wheels idea, I would watch these with one of my siblings. He's little and he loves cars and he loves the weird contraptions. And I saw one of these races on TikTok actually, and on TikTok they showed a compilation of all the crashes and all of the weird builds that there are. Oh, that one's a bus. And I thought they were so endearing and so cool. And he thought they were cool too. He like didn't like watching them get to the end. He always loves the crashes because he loves watching crashes, watch like car crashes and stuff like that. Not like ones with real people in them. He watches ones with like fake, like done in GTA. So is what it is. You know, so like watching this was something that he loved. So I wanted to include it because it's like a little piece of like family. Oh my gosh, that kind of fell apart. Um, but yeah, so they're not made. So as you can see, they're not made to be sturdy. So imagine this in the concept of like Happy Wheels, right? And this goes with the idea of like you would want to get sponsors that would help you build your rig, because I would assume this would be done by, middle class to poor people, and poor people who are trying to achieve enough wealth to live comfortably. So they're willing to go through the pain and suffering of the race if it comes with the chance that they might be able to live the rest of their life without any worries. Even with like their medical bills, like they wouldn't have to worry about their medical bills. Like so they know they'll be well taken care of if they win. So the whatever so getting a sponsor to help you build a more sturdy vehicle that allows you to get further faster may allow you to like get somewhere, right? So that's the idea where like you're kind of like trying to create these things. um Let me see how many of you are in the chat. A pretty decent amount of you. Oh wow. But yeah, I love watching these. I can watch these all day. But yeah, so that's why I like how weird they are. I wanted to go for this energy of craziness. Um, the other one that I was inspired by, that I thought would go very nicely with the idea of like, oh, like we're going and creating weird contraptions, is if you've ever heard of Red Bull's fly tag, flug tag. Um, it's basically it's to see how far your contraption can fly before it hits the floor. Oh, let me. So as you can see, like they all disintegrate, get destroyed in the water, like in the crash, always. So it's stuff like this where like they're trying to compete and risking bodily harm just so that way they can like get sponsors to look at the ridiculousness of it, right? Something like that. Stupid commercial. Stop. I don't care. Celtics. I already use you. Oh yeah. It's wanting me to go back because like I stopped using Celtics. Not stopped fully. I'm still doing the Death Note streams on there. I'm gonna keep the Death Note streams on there, but for this one, as you can see, this format's really different because I'm using Writer's Duet. It's another free script writing software, and it performs pretty similarly to Celtics. I've used it in the past, and pretty much I wanted to try it again and see if it would function well on stream. So I am basically, trying it out. Oh, that one's the milkshake one. So weird. But that's kind of the idea. We're kind of going for this vibe. Do you guys like the vibe so far? Like the inspo for this? Like, and the good thing about it is that this also gives you guys a chance to like, oh, here, how about we have one team be like team like platypus, and they do like a Perry the platypus like, build or something like that. Something jokey, something that the fans will joke. Everyone like who loves Happy Wheels will laugh about. This is the idea, right? And people come in droves just to watch this. This happens everywhere. They go and they like go from city to city to city doing this, which is insane. So like they travel to do this. So that's why I no, I don't want that video. I have two tabs open. I have one because I like while I was editing the video footage for the announcement of the Happy Wheels video, I was watching the Five Nights at Freddy's video that MatPat did where he's watching double. I think their name is Double Vision Pictures or something like that. And they think that they solved Five Nights at Freddy's, and so I was watching that live stream. I think their theory of Five Nights at Freddy's is solid. I'm like I'm like, oh boy, you just like opened a can of worms, girlies. You don't know what you just did, because like they literally upended the entire canon of Five Nights at Freddy's and changed a lot of the story, which was I loved it, but I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So yeah, so we're going for this vibe. Um, and that's also and part of the reason why I wanted to do sponsors, as you can see, someone who sponsors these events every single time. You can see it in this corner um, of the screen. Let me show my mouse. This corner. I'm not going to say the name of this place, um, but I'm just going to say their slogan. They got wings. Um, but basically, they sponsor events like this. Oh my gosh, no, don't do that. Events like this every single time. And there's other sponsors. They're just not as prevalent in terms of like putting their brands on everything, as the We Have Wings company does. And so I want to play off of this joke of that, like like some offshoot of this version of this company, a version of this company, exists in the Happy Wheels universe and is like sponsoring these events. Like I feel like that should be the case, right? So let me see. I'm also keeping the stream short, by the way, because like I said in the previous stream, that I just did, on Sheepy's short adventure. I'm trying to get through a ton of videos today because I'm trying to catch up, so that way I can get ahead of my schedule, because I haven't had I personally, I like to do whenever I have anything is like do videos, is try to be ahead of schedule as much as possible. So red, I'm gonna call them Red Toro, but you guys know what it is. Red Toro. Red Toro sponsor. Sir. Main sponsor. Main sponsor of the event. Main sponsor of the event. So this one gets two connected lines because it's connected in two ways. Of it connecting back to the Happy Wheels race of them being the sponsors, but also them also being a possible sponsor to sponsor these contestants, and the main reason why these contestants are doing these weird rigs. Let me see. Yeah. I'm also thinking about having them as some kind of character, like kind of like the idea of the game makers in the Hunger Games, where they're kind of in some way breaking the competition in a sense to favor ones that they think are more interesting. So those of who know how the game works, they also are probably like, okay, as long as I'm being interesting enough, I might have a solid chance at living doing this game, right? And that's the vibe. And I might have a chance at getting some kind of sponsor to keep me going. So pretty much that's the idea. Ooh, I thought of a funny idea. You know the idea of Murphy's Law? Anything that could go wrong will go wrong. How about that be the case for our character Steve? So I'm gonna put dash victim of Murphy's Law. Murphy's Law. So I want it to be that, like, part of the reason why he decides to join is that he's like, I haven't died yet of, like, everything going wrong, so might as well try my chances at, like, this competition, right? Like, if you're someone that is a victim of Murphy's Law, that everything that could ever go wrong could go wrong, but you're still living, like, you would have the idea that you're just like, why not? You know, what's the worst that could happen? Right? I die? Well, I've survived before, you know? Like, so he's probably thinking, I have a solid shot. And that also can add to more comedy because we have a kind of universal force. Hi! Amortique? Amortique? Hi! Yeah, you like the ideas? Oh wow, you're awake? I tried. But thanks. Yeah. I'm like, I assume probably this is early morning for you. Like, probably. I'm guessing. For you. Me, I'm like still like in the middle of the day. I started early. Let's just say I've been doing. This has been like a bit of a stamina run in terms of how much streams I've been doing. Oh wow. So you're kind of like, in a sense, like kind of your mid or late morning in a sense. So good to see ya. But yeah, so yeah, Steve, I think, should be a victim of Murphy's Law. Should think that he has nothing else to lose, and that's partially why he is like joining this. And so, like, he's the underdog in a sense, right? Let me make that another dash. Underdog. In competition. In competition. So he's the underdog because everything's going wrong, and everybody's like, oh, he can't hold out. Like, think about it, right? He's just barely skirting by, is what they're thinking. And they're like, in the next run, he'll probably, like, die, and then we'll be, like, going on to the next one. But then he has that, like, small group of people that's growing, that's, like, cheering him on. It's like, you can do it, Steve! Kind of like from, like, if you guys know, like, Fall Guy, remember the Ryan Reynolds movie where he played, he was like an NPC that came to life, and then, like, everyone noticed that he became sentient, and everybody was, like, cheering him on for escaping the game, to try to, like, find a way to, like, escape the game, or or find a way to not get rebooted, so that way he's no longer sentient. So I was like, I think that's the idea, is that he gets, like, an underdog's following, and, like, everybody is like making jokes about him and stuff like that, but he doesn't care because he thinks he has a chance at winning, right? The other character that I think we should include, because he's on all of the marketing of Happy Wheels, is the engorged guy. I would say he's obese, maybe. He's, like, very big. And they in these, like, footage in the pictures, and so I want him to be like one of the competitors, but he's one of those there where like he doesn't seem like he would win, right? He wouldn't, like, on the surface, right? If you didn't see him in his competitions, you wouldn't think he would win. But he's like he's the top competitor. Yes. Like, he's the top competitor of all of them. So like, it think about that, right? This engorged man, like, let me find a video picture of what I'm talking about, so that way we can like look at this. I think it's at the beginning. Not this one. There's another one. Where is it? Where is it? Let me see. I'm trying to find it because like there's like I think 4 different title screens that you can get in total. Let me see. There's this one with the old guy. No, I don't want a commercial.
An Ivy League or top 20.
No, I don't care about the Ivy
Here we
League.
go. Screw you, Bill.
Yep, you guessed it. Another
No!
talking about people making hundreds.
No, no, man, no. I don't care about how much money you're
My
making.
name is Jacksepticeye, and welcome back to Happy Wheels.
Wait, there was one where his legs are up. Oh my gosh, what the hell? So I think it's an overly engorged woman. I was wrong, but it's some. So I think she should be like the top competitor, right? No one should think like she's the one where like if you didn't see these competitions, right? Yeah, I know. Ads are like, why can't I just move the playhead? Why can't there be a timer on these things where they're like, they acknowledge that like, okay, we've just fed them an ad. Let's give them 10 minutes before we think about doing it again, right? I shouldn't have to move me moving the playhead to somewhere in the video should not generate an ad. But I digress. But so I think that she should like be someone where if you didn't watch the competition, you wouldn't think she's like the best competitor. Like she's like the biggest player in the whole competition, but she is like the most like skilled at the Happy Wheels runs. Like she's the most skilled. She has the biggest shot at winning this. She has the biggest shot at winning this. So I want that. So, and then we have the old man, which we're gonna include. Engorged woman. This best contestant. Best contestant. She's the best contestant. Everyone's rooting for her. Everyone is rooting. I'm so terrible at spelling. Rooting for her. For her. Right? So she should. Oh my god. Okay, that was funny. Your comment was funny. She can run me over for real. Oh my gosh. So yeah. She's the best contestant. Everyone is rooting for her. I think that if she does not make it to the end, it has to be something where her and Steve are racing, and something that was supposed to take out Steve, he manages to dodge, and she just for some reason doesn't make it, right? And it's not because like she shouldn't win at the end. Is that could be a possibility for like him feeling bad, because he also like this is someone that hasn't grasped the gravity of like being a victim of Murphy's Law in a sense until he sees someone that was on top of their game get totally taken out of the competition, and he feels bad about it because he feels like it's his fault because she actually had solid chance. She had every reason to win. And she doesn't have to die, but she has to be in some way where she cannot continue the competition, right? She either like has to pull out for some reason or something. And he now grasps the idea of like how has everything that he's done affected everyone around him in a sense. And I think that's an important thing, right, for Steve's character. But I also think that that this also can create some camaraderie there should be some camaraderie between him and this woman. I don't know her name yet. I'm going to figure out the name. I just haven't figured it out yet. But there should be some camaraderie where if he does win in this story, he feels like he wants to share his winnings in a sense with like the people he believes that he has affected the most in a sense, right? I think that should be the case. Like, he has the chance of being well off, but he gives it up in a sense, because he realizes he doesn't need it. I think that would be the case, where you can have a yes/no ending. I think this is one of those cases where a yes/no ending works. I think that if he wins the game, he gives the money. He doesn't keep the money. I think that's the case, right? Like, she was supposed to win, and he felt like if what was going to happen to him didn't happen to her, she would have won. I feel like that should be the case, right? Where he feels like he needs to take responsibility for that. And she doesn't, I don't think that she should, I think that she feels like frustrated she did not win, but she's glad that, like, at least she did her best in a sense. And at first she probably is like, no, you keep the money, but she realizes he's not going to give in, and so she does. She does get the money. So I think that she should, she wins the money, but he wins the race. And for him, this is the first victory, in a sense, that he's ever gotten in his life. In a sense. Like, winning this meant more than the cash prize, really. And that's established I think should be established at the beginning. He's in it just because he's like, why not? Right? That's the point. He's not in it for the cash prize. He's just like, why not? If it does help me, it does. You know. Gets Dash gets hurt by something that was supposed to hurt Steve. Was supposed to hurt Steve. Right? Best contestant, everyone's rooting for her, gets hurt by something that was supposed to hurt Steve. Gets the money in the end. Gets the prize in the end. Okay. So those are the basic bullet points of the character. Of her character. We're going to connect her and Steve together. And I feel like, actually, I think that like I think the engorged woman should be like a tagline that she should go by, because like not because it's something that would like, I don't think that, you know, she really thinks that of herself, but I think this is a woman that like she's in that case scenario that a lot of women are in, where no matter what she does with her body, even if she works out, her body's just not going to slim down. And so she goes for the name the Engorged Woman because that is the most marketable name she can get in terms of this competition. That is her marketing for this competition. That how possibly could someone this out of shape get like win the competition? That's what she's going for. She's using her how she looks to the audience to like kind of incite this marketing potential from the sponsors. I think that is something that she considers, right? She's someone that is like, okay, I'm going to go off of this because this is the most marketable thing that I have. And if you really knew her, she's a sweet lady that she tries her best. You know, my brain is literally just got hit with the Dolly Parton's like, the TikTok where people play where it's like a single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops. That thing that just hit my brain. It just pinged my brain. And I'm like, great, my brain is stuck on this now. Okay, this is what happens. Like, the song just gets stuck in my head, and then I'm like, it's repeating on overload. So great. My brain has changed to a different song. Fun. But yeah, so I think that she should be, the reason why she's called the Engorged Woman is not because that's not what she thinks of herself. She thinks that that's the most marketable things that she can do. I think that would be perfect. And that would explain why she's depicted in such a manner. Right? Let me go to the, let me rewind back.
Top of the morning to you laddies. My name is Jacksepticeye. Welcome back.
Right? She's in this like shirt that is coming apart in some areas because it's been stretched. It's torn. It's like it's kind of feels like her body is like not fitting in it very well. She's holding a spork. If you can't really see it, but she's holding a spork right here. Right? And that could be the explanation of why she dresses like this, why she looks like this. Right? She's trying to go for that marketability that everybody's going for. They're going to be going for the, oh, I am, I am the crazy stoner dude, like, and like dress up like Shaggy. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to go and find the most marketable quality that they can do of themselves so that way they stand out to sponsors. That's her thing. Right? And it's not the best thing that she doesn't like the role she has to play, but she does it because it's going to get her farther in the competition. So her name is her marketing. Her name is her marketing. So, and I think this would be something that would kind of echo a sentiment that women in the acting profession feel, in a sense. I know this feels like off topic in a sense, but stick with me. A lot of actors, when they first start, when they're of a particularly bigger size, they are kind of typecast in a way by Hollywood. And they give in to those because those are the ones that are booking. Those are the ones that are allowing them to pay their paychecks. And they don't like the role, but they're doing it because it's going to allow them to get the money, get the exposure, get what they need. So like, for example, take for instance like Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids, right? Or Rebel Wilson in Pitch Perfect, right? It's in those roles they were typecast, and they took those because that was the only thing that they can do at that moment because that was what was marketable. And while they didn't like it, that was what they had to grasp onto. And I think that is the idea that the Engorged Woman is supposed to represent, in a sense, right? Is that feel that like pressure to kind of fit into a mold that the media is trying to push you in order for you to attain anything close to success in a sense. So I feel like that's what she represents in a sense. I know we just made, I don't know how, but we went from Engorged Man to it just becoming a thought-provoking piece. I don't know how, but I just managed to do it every single time. Is what it is. So yeah, so that's her whole thing. Doesn't realize how many people are getting hurt by his actions. Doesn't realize how many people are getting hurt by his actions. I think that it's more of him being oblivious than him not wanting to look, in a sense, for him. So now we have the idea, right? So good. So now we have that character. Let's do now I'm going to call him Old War Vet. I think that's what I'm going to do. As I'm going to call them by they're going to be called by their marketing name. And Old War Vet is this dude. This dude, right? This dude, the reason why he's in the games, right, is that he's someone that he did the Vietnam War, or yeah, Vietnam War could work. Did the Vietnam War. He has a lot of medical bills. He feels unappreciated. And so and stuff like that. And then he chooses to go into the Happy Wheels race because he feels like he could make it because he was able to handle the horrors of war, in a sense, right? That's the idea. He thinks he can handle it because he's like, this isn't the worst thing I've ever experienced or seen or stuff like that. And he's kind of like an echo of Steve's character in a sense, but it's someone that is from a grizzled, old, kind of stuck in their ways perspective, right? And so he's kind of like I would say like he's kind of because I feel like he could be a cautionary tale for Steve in terms of like going and continuing to have this mindset and like of like I have nothing else to lose, so why not so like not to say that that's a bad mindset, but to say like he's like the extreme version of that, right? He's like the goes to extreme levels of that. You know, like this is a person that is jaded by society. This is a person that had, everyone has taken pieces of him. He's had rotten luck all of his life. And there's nothing he can do about it in terms of his situation. He's lived his life and nothing good has come into his life, right? And so instead of trying to choose to try to find some joys, try to find something, right? he goes and he chooses to look on the negative side. He chooses to look for the bad in people. And that he feels like nothing's ever going to go his way. And so he feels jaded by it. He feels like he is like trying to find the right words, but I'm trying to find like I feel like he has to be someone that like he has to change his perspective. Steve has to change his perspective on life in a sense through Steve winning. Right? This is a man that has gone through the horrors of war, gone through everything, and then he watches this kid that is like basically like dodging narrowly, like almost dying multiple times. Very Orange Cat like energy in a sense. Like Steve is just Orange Cat energy in a sense. And like he's watching him do all this stuff, and then like he finally sees like he probably I feel like he should have some kind of confrontation with Steve at some point where he's like just back out of the game. You're going to get hurt. You've almost died multiple times. And he's like, "No, I believe I can win. I believe I can win. I believe I can get there. I believe I can do this." I know I'm kind of quoting the song All the Way. And that's the idea. I feel like All the Way is the mentality of Steve. So anyone who is wondering, look up, if you haven't heard of the song, look up All the Way Jacksepticeye. You'll enjoy the song. It's a lovely song, but it's, for me, I believe that is the mentality that Steve adheres to. Like basically like he will get there no matter what, in a sense, right? So but yeah, so I think I'm gonna cut this off because my brain is starting to melt, because my brain is like, I already have a little bit of migraine and I need a minute to like rest my head, and my computer is chugging like crazy. So yeah, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna end the stream, and I'll start the next stream probably in like 1 or 2 hours from now, where we're doing Stardew. So I'll see you guys when I come back for Stardew. So see ya.